Hey, and Happy New Year. I hope the year is off to a great start so far. I'm gonna do a really informative video today about how not to fail at your goals this year. If you're anything like me and a lot of the clients I work with, setting goals is exciting and it's fun. And there's so many great parts about, the process of setting a goal and sitting down and writing out what you want to achieve for the year. But it can get really frustrating when you sit down and you look back on last year's goals and you completely forgot about them, or you didn't achieve them, or you fell short. There was so much going on in our year last year, from getting engaged to getting pregnant to getting married and opening a business and all of the fun stuff like that, that a lot of the goals we set happened to just slip by. And I don't know if this has happened to you, but what we did this year is we put a system in place so that there will be no goal that has gone unachieved this year. So I'm going to be sharing my system that we've set up in our house here, and I hope that it is inspiring for you and you can take action on it and start implementing this in your goal setting right now as we start off this new year. If we haven't met before, my name is Tanessa. I'm a life coach. We are going to dive in today all about setting goals, making them happen. So the first thing I guess I should say is what inspired this change of tactic towards setting goals. So I was listening to a podcast, and it was with James Clear, and he's the author of Atomic Habits. And that is a book that I read over the last year and I really enjoyed. So that's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And there was a quote that he said in a podcast interview that he did this last week. And it says that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. I'm gonna say that again. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So it doesn't matter how great your goals are, how specific they are, how timely they are. None of that matters if you don't have the system in place to achieve them. So when my husband and I were sitting down this year, I'm like, how can we put a system in place so that no matter what, we're moving forward on our goals? So that's what I'm gonna take you through today, that exact system that we put in place so that next year we can look at our goals, we can knock them all off. I'm gonna show you where I keep my goals, how I write them, how I set them up. And if this is something that's really interesting to you, I challenge you to try it, because it was such a good process to go through. It was really good bonding actually to do with me and my husband one-on-one. And whether you're doing this on your own or with friends, family, loved ones, it's a really good thing to kind of hear all the things that inspire and excite another person. So let's get started. I have lots of printouts because this is what I have been doing differently this year. So the first thing we did was we sat down and we set our goals. And we actually did this separately this year. So I took 20 minutes, half an hour to say, well, what do I really want to achieve this year? And what do I know I have coming up? And one of the things I know is I'm due in 4 weeks to have a baby. So that might throw a little bit of a wrench into things, but I'm going to plan like I have control over everything. And I'm going to plan as if I am going to achieve everything no matter what, because I'm going to learn how to make it work. So one of the first things I did is we set our goals. And what I did is I divided the goals that we set into 5 different categories. And sometimes you'll hear, set a personal goal and a spiritual goal and a health goal and a mental health goal and a financial goal. So I split mine up a little bit differently. I split our goals up into our family, my life, my business, our business, so my husband and I's business, and courses that I want to complete. So if you know me, I'm an online course junkie. I take a lot of courses. I read a lot of books. My job as a coach is to aggregate information. It's to learn from a whole bunch of different sources, put it together, and then give you the best of the best so that you can take immediate actions and get results. That's my job. So I spend a lot of time learning and in personal development and self-development. So when I set these goals, I did set goals in each of those categories. Now, one of the things that I did was I made sure that this year I wrote my goals in present tense as if they had already happened. So things like, I easily do this, I have completed this, I effortlessly did this. And so what I wanted it to read was, I wanted it to read like I was December 31st at the end of this year and I had already accomplished everything, and that's what I was looking for. So number 1 is I started by setting the specific goals, set them in present tense. So an example of mine was, I easily plan 2 date nights per month with Flynn in which we spend at least 2 hours of one-on-one time reconnecting. And this was super important to us because with the baby coming, we're gonna need to put in an intentional effort into our relationship. So I was doing things like that. Another one was I am at my pre-baby weight of 128 pounds by December 31st, 2020. So I wrote my goals like that. And then what I did was I then printed them off. So you can see what we do here is I have all my goals here listed out. They're fun little check boxes. My husband did his own, but I have all these little check boxes here and I put it in this easy to, so it doesn't get all bent and wrinkled up, a sleeve. And I'm gonna show you where I put these afterwards. But I have it all set up like this in this sleeve. So I've got my goals set up, right? And I'm looking at this, there's like 3, 6, probably 16, about 25 goals. But there's some that I really wanna focus on. So step 1, set your goals. Step number 2, you need to figure out how you need to feel in order to accomplish those, because these goals, they're all great, but there's gonna come those times where you don't feel like going to the gym. You don't feel like eating a salad. You don't feel like sitting down to work on your business. All of these things are gonna come up. You don't feel like reading even though you said you were gonna spend 20 minutes reading a night. That is where this belief plan comes in, and this is one of the things that's new this year for me. As I asked myself, Tanessa, what am I going to need to feel in those moments when I just don't feel like doing it, when I'm not feeling motivated, I'm not inspired, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I'm just, not feeling that inspiration? What am I gonna need to feel in order to show up for my family, for my health, for my body, for my business, for my clients? How am I gonna need to show up? And 3 words came to my mind of how I wanted to show up. Number 1 is that I need to feel inspired, I need to feel deliberate, and I need to feel persistent. Notice I didn't say confident, motivated, excited, because those are all things I'm gonna feel when I'm already in action or I've already achieved my goals. But I need to know in those tough moments, what do I need to feel to get moving, to start the momentum, to get things going? That's what I need to focus on here. So what I did was I came up with my belief plan, and these are gonna be thoughts that I am gonna be practicing every single day. Now, I'm not gonna practice all of them, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the 2 or 3 that are the most important to me and practice thinking them, because we have these habitual thoughts that we think all the time. I'm tired, I don't wanna do this, I deserve this, I've had a long day, I'll do it tomorrow. We have these thoughts all the time. So we really want to work on our mindset and program ourselves into thinking things that serve us instead. We need to put them into practice. And I don't mean think it once a day, I mean think it multiple times a day until it is a part of who we are. So after I've identified how I want to feel, which was inspired, deliberate, and persistent, I need to go to work and figure out, where does my brain need to go and what do I need to be thinking in order to create each of those emotions? Because those are emotions that are gonna get me to work, despite the days where I'd rather just veg out on the couch or I'd rather just watch Netflix. So I'm gonna give you a couple of mine that I got done, and I just did it as a 2020 belief plan. Now, this idea is not mine. Actually, my coach taught me this idea of creating a belief plan and then going to work to focus on the 2 to 3 beliefs that are gonna serve me every day. So I have a section for what makes me feel inspired, what makes me feel deliberate, and what makes me feel persistent. So some of the thoughts that I'm gonna practice thinking this year when I don't feel like doing it and I need to feel inspired because I wanna create value or content, or I wanna create a video like this for my audience so that, I can create impact, so that I can spread the message and help transform other people's lives. These are some of the things that I'm going to intentionally think. My life and transformation is an example of what is possible. I have so much value to offer right now. It is possible to sign up a new client today. And then one of my favorite ones is I live in transformation and I inspire others when I share my story. I really want to fully embrace that and believe that, because I love sharing what I've learned, because it is impactful. And there are, some of you guys that watch this and take notes or take action on what I say and experience that transformation yourself. And if I don't show up, then my audience isn't able to get that transformation. So that's where I needed to go to feel inspired when I need to create value and content. when I need to feel deliberate. And what I mean by that is I can see myself checking Facebook, I can see myself answering text messages, but I know I should be focused on what I have to be doing, whether that's getting the laundry done, writing a newsletter, whatever that is. Some of the thoughts that I need to think intentionally are, I'm creating the life I want to live. My transformation is my responsibility, and I want to find out what I am capable of and what is possible for me. Those are some of the thoughts that I'm going to be going to when I need to be deliberate and intentional with my time and not waste it. Then, when I need to create persistence, so those are those moments when I just feel like the day is a slog, but I know I have to get through the things on my list. Some of the thoughts that I create, I love this one. This one I actually got from a spin instructor. His name is Alex Toussaint. He's part of the Peloton spin family that I'm part of. But he says, this is a moment of discipline. I love that thought. That just makes me feel like this is my chance to show myself I'm disciplined and that I want this. This is one of those moments where I get to be disciplined. I really like this one. I see what you're trying to do, brain, not today. Because I sometimes hear my brain be like, you could take a break. It's fine. It's fine, just go get lunch, watch Netflix, you'll be fine. So that was something I didn't want as a standard for myself. I can do hard things. This is how it feels to grow. I'm okay with feeling uncomfortable. I can make the next right choice. I feel the shift that I need happening right now. And then the other one I added on this morning was my favorite thing is hard work. I love those thoughts. So I know that if I'm ever in a place where my goals are my priority and I don't feel like doing them and I don't feel motivated, I know that at any point I've created a list of beliefs that I know will generate the feelings, that deliberance, that intentional attitude, the persistence, and the inspiration that I need to get to work. So I have this. This has been a big change this year. This is something I'm implementing. I do it with my clients all the time, but this year I'm putting it on paper so that I can make sure that I'm referring to it all of the time. So after I've set my goals and I've printed it out, and they're in present tense and they are exciting to me, after I've created the thoughts and the mindset that I really want to engage with to move me forward, the step 3 is you need to post it. You need to be able to see this. So one of the things that happened to us last year was I wrote our goals and it disappeared off into the abyss, and I only checked on it every couple of months or, when I thought about it. But this year I was like, no, I'm gonna be much more intentional. So this year with the baby coming, we moved my whole office downstairs now. So we're in the kitchen. So we needed to get a new cupboard. So back here I have one of these really tall IKEA cupboards here. So what I've done is I sit down at my desk every single day. So I knew this was a place I would be visiting all day, every day. So the reason these are down here is because you can see if I open up this cupboard back here, you can even see the green tape where these were stuck this morning. But these get stuck, the goals on the top, and then I stick the belief plant on the bottom. And because they are in a place I come to every single day, I start every workday with reviewing all of my goals. I start every day reviewing the thoughts that I need to pick or think and choosing 2 or 3 of them that are gonna serve me. So step 3, you need to put it somewhere you're going to see it. It can't be in a journal. It can't be tucked away in a file on the computer. This needs to be somewhere you can see it easily, and you can reread it and you can get familiar with it so that you can know them by heart. So every day I'm checking in here. I've already done it every day this week. These are getting posted right here. So they just pretty much go like this when the tape works, but they just stick right there. And that's exactly what I'm doing so that I make sure that I see them every single day. So once they're posted back in there, then step 4, what I did was I took each of my goals and I broke it down on a free software that I use online called Trello. It's basically like a project planning software, and it lets you create like to-do items with checklists underneath. If you haven't checked out Trello and you're an organizing lover like me, this is something you really need to check out. So what I've done was I took each of our goals and I planned it out by quarter. So for example, the goal that I said of I easily plan 2 date nights with Flynn per month in which we spend at least 2 hours of one-on-one time reconnecting. So I always like to plan in quarters. So quarter 1 being January, February, March. So I have created a checklist with 2 dates per month. So there are a total of 6 things I need to get checked off. So date 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those need to be planned in. And this is what I went through all my goals and did. I broke them down into what needs to happen, which ones of these goals I'm gonna be working on in Q1. So obviously I'm not gonna be working to get the baby weight off in the first quarter, because my job is just to deliver a healthy baby and get used to being a new mom. But that might be something I start working on in Q2 or Q3, so I'll bring that then. But I started by picking the ones that I wanted to work on first. And then what I would do is, for example, we're taking a course right now called Entrepreneurial Bookkeeping. So what I did was on that checklist, made a checklist of all the different modules that I have to get through in order to complete the course. And so I started breaking it down into step by step by step. And this was just done on Trello. I mean, it can be done on a piece of paper. I really like Trello because it's a visual way for me to have it on my phone. I have it on my computer. It's something I reminded to check in because I'm looking at my goals all the time. So that has been super handy. So basically step 4 is just going to be take the goals that you're working on for the next 3 months, quarter 1 or quarter 2 or wherever in the year you're watching this. The next thing is to take them and to break them down into miniature steps. And I'm talking about things that can get done in half an hour to an hour, mini tasks, little things you need to check off in order to get this done. That's what I'm gonna get you to start by doing. Then the last thing on our list is it's all about accountability. And this is where we are making our biggest change this year. So change number 1 was to break these down into mini goals by quarter. Number 2 is our accountability meetings. So my husband and I have set up a plan with each other that every Sunday for 1 hour, and it's tentatively planned right now at 5 p.m. Of course, it's gonna change, a couple hours here and there depending on what we've got going on. But we have set aside 1 hour to meet with each other every Sunday so that we can plan out the week ahead and assess what didn't work the week before. This is what is different, because normally we just leave it up to ourselves to be like, yeah, I'm achieving my goals. Yes, I worked on it this week. But what we're gonna be doing is taking that giant list we created, and we're gonna be going through and we're gonna spend half an hour on my goals, half an hour on his goals. We're gonna go through and we're gonna be like, okay, all these things you have planned in checklist for the week, which ones of these things are you going to get done this week? He's gonna share mine. I'm gonna share, he's gonna share his, I'll share mine. We're gonna get a list going of the stuff we both commit to getting done that week, those mini to-dos that fall under each of the goals we have set. So for example, if we know that we wanna get our 2 date nights in the month, if that week one of our date nights is gonna fall, we need to plan it in on the calendar so it actually happens. Then at our following meeting the next Sunday, we're gonna go through and be like, okay, what did you get done off of your list that you said you were gonna do? So it's an accountability system, and you don't need to do this with someone else, but it does help if it's something that is like on the calendar. You can schedule it with yourself, you can schedule it with a friend or a family member, but what we intended on with this is to be able to say, here are the miniature tasks that I'm gonna do this week that is ultimately building towards that goal I want to achieve for the entire year. And then we're just gonna go through a really simple process of, hey, what worked really well this week, what didn't work well this week, and what would we do differently in setting these goals? So the system that we have set up that is different from usual, because that quote was all about you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That meant getting our goals done, knowing what I needed to think in order to move me into action, putting it up someplace that I'm gonna see this every single day, and making time to review what I want out of this year every single day, making sure it's posted. And then that meeting, that is the big thing. The system we are putting in place is, hey, what are we getting done this week? What little steps to make up that bigger goal need to happen this week to move the needle forward? Okay? What am I going to do on my action list this week that is going to get me that one step closer so that I can complete the actions next week? So when we're looking over a quarter or a year, however many weeks that is, I know that if I take incremental, planned, small steps every single week, it's gonna get accomplished. So for example, that entrepreneurial bookkeeping course that I'm enrolled in, there are 2 parts to the course. Each of them have 7 modules. So I know that if I plan next week, module 1, done. Then the next week I can do module 2. So it's only a matter of time before I look and all of a sudden all 14 modules are done on that course and I can check it off and move on to something else. This is the system. It is all about being super specific. It is about creating a plan in present tense with accountability and somewhere that I am forced to check in daily, because a lot of my tech stuff is stored in that cupboard back there and I have to open that cupboard every single day in order to start work. So as soon as I open it, these are pasted on the inside. That is what I want to achieve this year, and I am putting so much intention into getting them done, and that is what is going to be different, because I mean, for us, for all of us, there's so many unexpected things that happen during a year. And I know for us, we knew that in 4 weeks, there will be another human in our family. There is going to be a little baby girl in this family. And if we are not deliberate, persistent, inspired, and intentional with A, our time, and B, our goals, it would be so easy to get tired and overwhelmed and too busy to accomplish the things we also want for our lives. And that's one of the things that my husband and I have discussed in detail, is that we want bringing this baby into our family to be an addition. So we want to be able to still, you know, have our dreams and our goals and love our lives as well as welcome this baby in. But we know that that is going to be work. That is going to be planning. So using the system that we used last year of, you know, just writing our goals at New Year's and then putting them in a notebook in a closet, it didn't work. It's not going to work. We have to be so much more structured. So by using those meetings, those check-ins that we're going to be having once a week, we can be like, hey, when are you watching the baby? When am I watching the baby? When are you going to work? When can we get these things done? How many things are realistic on there? And this is the level of specificity that is going to help you succeed as well. So I hope that has been exceptionally helpful. I'm going to review the steps really quick. Step number 1, you set your goals. Step number 2, you write out the things that you need to think and the mindset you need to have, that you are going to go to, believe, practice, and live into in those moments where you just feel like, oh, I'll do this tomorrow. I'll start again later. Number 3, post it somewhere you're going to see it. Maybe it's your bathroom mirror. Maybe it's your desktop where you see every day. Maybe it's in the shower. Mine in my work cupboard. I see it every day. Number 4, break all your goals down into little baby action steps so that when you have that meeting with yourself or your partner or a friend every single week, you know, here's all my actions. What am I getting done this week so we can follow up? But that has been how we are setting up our systems for our goals this year. I hope that has been super inspiring. If you need help staying committed to your goal, I have a free resource that I've just created. It is called The Commitment Code. It helps you learn how to live in breakthrough and start making decisions faster so that you can move fast towards the results that you want. If you want to jump on that, it's completely free. I send it out to all of the members of my audience. You can just go to TanessaShears.com/code and you will get access to The Commitment Code. It's my guide, my 3-step action plan for exactly how to stay fully committed, because now that you know what you need to do, it's just about following the steps and staying committed. So I hope you have an amazing year and you achieve everything you set out for yourself. Take care, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.